not funny, Caitlin.
We got a lot to talk about.
Is funny.
Can I say something, Anthony? You're kind of hard to look at today.
I know, guys.
That's
control room. How
not right.
doing with, I appreciate you bringing that up in front of the group. Could we get a close-up, please?
Look at Anthony's eyes, you guys. This one in particular,
Thank you, Caitlin.
right here.
I really appreciate.
If he looks this way, and
You should see the other guy.
Hold
Oh,
on.
no.
Oh. Does that make you feel weird inside?
I Googled it today.
I'm worried
It's
about
called
him.
a conjunctional hemorrhage.
Ooh, conjunct is never a good
Yes, but
prefix.
it's not conjunctivitis, or else I would not be in
Here.
work today. Yes, it's
Has it spread though? I'm worried it's getting longer that way. Like, I feel like he should just leave and go to the doctor.
I'm not gonna lie, I think you look cool, dude.
You can't mess with
I got you.
balls.
Thank you, man.
I think I got you, man.
I think it adds
It hurts a little
Caitlin,
bit.
I think it adds character.
Again, Caitlin Cody, you should see the other guy.
No, I was looking into what causes these.
Yeah.
It can be getting punched.
Yeah.
It can also be exerting yourself too much.
Yeah.
It can be from anything.
Oh, well, which is a really sly way of saying I was lifting too much at the gym.
Well,
Or
the
coughing
thing
too
is
hard.
sneezing or.
No, don't tell people you sneezed.
And the other.
Come up with a sexy story, man.
Did you
There's a
see-
couple other.
don't
less,
say I sneezed.
There's a couple other less sexy.
Say I was deadlifting and I
You can imagine.
pumped it up to 400.
Anyway.
Wait, so do you think you know? Do you have a little cough?
I'm a
bit of
little
junk? I
under
think we all kind of do.
weather as
Jake,
well.
I don't know how you've avoided. You travel, so you avoided it. But I think everyone
He's got
here.
tiger blood.
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah.
Jake
Also,
Hamilton's got tiger blood.
what we were discussing before we came on camera
Yeah.
was that these two men didn't realize that Jenna off camera had 8 inches of hair cut off. They were like,
8 inches?
It's
Yeah, come on.
Neither of us.
Come on.
I was telling Kate.
I never would have.
Look how cute it is. Look how cute
Look.
it is.
It's just.
it does look
It's
great.
just. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
8 inches.
But again,
Never noticed. They wouldn't have even
I'm just-
No, no, you're not wrong. No, you're not wrong.
Guys.
for men, we're not very observant when it comes to, at least for me, if
A lot of things.
if someone's hair is below their shoulders, like shoulder level and
Yeah.
below, that's one category, and if it's above the shoulders, that's another.
Yeah.
So if it's that's the only time I will notice if it
So
goes.
if it went above.
Yeah.
See,
then I would know.
I think for me, you've got to go pure Charlize Theron and Mad Max. Like, if you come in head shaved, then I'll be like, you did something to your hair, didn't you? What is different about you,
Well,
Jenna?
this is another prime example. Over the weekend, Natalie Baumke's family and my family went on a little overnight stay at a cabin, okay? We get in the car and Natalie texts me, hey, do you have Olive's kitty? And I was like, I didn't pack it because I know what toys my kids have. My husband, on the other hand, just grabbing stuff, throwing it in the bag, grabbed her kitty, but he doesn't know what toys we have. This is another weird thing, like men versus women. Like, you guys probably are not aware of every item. Maybe you, because you live by yourself.
But I don't know, like dog toys. Not that it's
Every item in your
but
house.
like if someone came over with their dog and
Yeah.
brought their toy, I wouldn't know that's Daenerys's and that's your dog toy. Like, they all look like dog toys to me.
Comical to me. Would you? Like, just packing up stuff?
I
to
will
grab?
say, you brought up kitty, right? Okay, that's a very important object
Yeah.
in one little girl's life, right?
Sure.
My 4-year-old's got a little blanky, stuffy thing he calls Nina. And that item has become as important to Maggie and I as the cell phone, the wallet, the key. I mean, we cannot leave a location without knowing where Nina is.
That's fair.
If Nina is not in tow.
Yeah.
My kid will have
Fair
a
enough.
flip
You need to put an Apple tag.
In a picture.
Yeah.
When you guys went to the race.
Yeah, exactly. He's holding it.
That is the cutest thing I've ever.
Yeah, so.
Oh, by the way, Darcy, my 3-year-old got a leech on her finger for the first time. I know we were talking
Something
about this
squishy.
earlier. Something squishy, Mom. And I thought it, because we pick up like worms and stuff and like, you know, little snails at home. So she picked it out of the lake in Michigan. And I was like, that's a leech. And so my husband.
Was it big like in Stand By Me, or was it like a tiny one?
Good pull.
Remember that?
Like this big, and I was like, Grady, she's got a leech. Whenever something goes awry, you guys, with my kids, something else happened. And okay, so let me first finish this sentence. If anything goes awry with my kids, my voice goes to an octave with Grady! Like immediately. So that was one of those instances, and he comes running over. Another one, you guys. So on Friday, okay, first of all, back to the conversation of boys versus girls. You guys are crazy as toddlers. Boys are freaking crazy.
Yes.
So I've had my two girls.
That seems like a blanket statement.
It's true.
It's accurate.
So Bodie, he tries to hurt himself every single second of every single day. Now that he is over 1 and he's walking, like he goes out of his way to try to hurt himself, like constantly, constantly. Like you can't stop. It's exhausting. Anyways, on Friday, I'm like trying to get the kitchen clean because we're going out of town, right? So I'm like trying to get everything done. And at the same time, playing defense with my baby, he gets up on the couch. So like the couch was probably about like the size of this. This is awful. And this is my second kid for this to happen. So parents at home, if this has happened to you, I'm with you. Up on the back of the couch, about this high off the ground, on his knees, facing me in the kitchen. And so like every time he does something like this, where he's like on something, I try not to run over to him because he gets excited and then he'll like tumble. So I was calmly walking over to him as he's on his knees on the back of the couch. And I'm walking towards him and he fell off the couch, face first, hit his head on the ground, and then his body went over the back of him. So like his head went like this, and then his body came up and over.
Oh no.
It was horrendous.
It did like a full flip.
It was horrendous. And so that was another instance where I was like, Grady! Bodie just fell really bad. And I like grabbed him, which you're not supposed to do, because I worry about, you know, the neck injury, but it just as a parent, like that's the first thing you do is grab him really quick. But he was fine. He was fine.
Does he have a mark? Did it leave a mark?
Not even.
Wow.
But like Darcy did the same thing, but when Darcy did it, she puked, and then we took her to the emergency room.
Yeah, that's a sign of a concussion.
Yeah. Spooky stuff. I don't know how we got on this.
Yeah, no. I will say that you have to, I mean, countless times save your toddler from death.
And just hope that you can.
Death. Yeah, exactly. Like off a bridge, they will walk off.
Grab them.
Yeah.
We on a boat, just wanted to walk right off. By a pool, would walk right in. Like they have no. It's so scary, Jake. It's so
no
scary.
sense of self-preservation.
The amount of times
that comes later.
Caitlin Cody says, Jake, when are you going to be a dad? Jake, when are you going to be a dad? Jake, when are you going to be a dad? And then proceeds to tell stories like that. It's great.
Not a ringing endorsement.
You're constantly keeping your small human away from death at all times. And if you forget their blanket, your life's a living hell. You should try it.
You should try it.
It's wonderful. It's going to be amazing.
True.
You don't get to do anything you want to do for the next 18 years of your life, and you make sacrifices beyond measure. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
No, one of these days.
It is.
One of these. Mom, I know you're probably watching. Mom,
it's just a period of this long, okay? You just got to like count down. It's like kind of like the newborn stage where you don't get to sleep and you feel like you're losing
It just sounds like they're doing parkour.
They are.
Yeah.
Just every little thing. Just stand up and yell parkour.
It gets a little better with each.
Yeah.
I mean, in the saving them
Yeah.
from death category.
Yeah. I'm just like, will he do
Their
it
sense
again?
of self-preservation will eventually kick in. Eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, you got to be on high alert, Caitlin.
High alert.
All right, we got some cool stuff to get to here in the next hour, everybody. I am excited to talk to Hinsdale.
Yes.
Hinsdale has figured out, apparently, I don't want to like oversell this, everybody, but Jake, have you ever like had to negotiate around e-scooters, bikes that are just strewn out on the bike path?
Yes, I'm amazed at how often I walk along the lake a lot. How many of y'all like look down just in the lake?
What?
Yeah. Scooters in the lake.
What?
Hinsdale is I think they're trailblazing in this in terms of figuring this out. Okay, because this stuff can be great, the e-scooters, bikes, but there's kind of this mess factor in.
Yeah. People not
LA, like you around like Hollywood and stuff, they're just all over.
What?
Scattered all over.
Don't you get charged? Like, how does this not? How?
I think they got bigger issues.
No one cleans up after their dog in Hollywood. You ever notice that?
Ew. What?
That's a pet peeve of mine. If I'm out and Daenerys does what she's got to do and I don't have a bag, I will go around and like
use your
No.
Take your shoe off.
No.
Scoop it in there.
I went to ask someone for a stranger for a bag.
Okay.
But not that.
All right. There's a reason that Jake is here, and that is because he took one for the team last night.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, you know what? I would. Yeah. In another life, I would watch the Emmys too. We're talking about the Emmys.
Yeah.
Biggest night
I do
in television.
Miss not getting to see the Sunday night game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as a football fan.
Most people are watching that Sunday night.
Yeah, but my fantasy team sucked this week, so it was fun.
This is in your job description.
Yeah.
And I was actually super curious about this year's Emmys because I was one of those, again, back to parenting, deeply affected by that limited series called Adolescence.
Sure.
And I was curious how it would do at the Emmys. Anyway,
right.
Jake joining us now to break down some of the wins and losses.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people going in thought that the night was going to belong to the Apple series Severance, which did pick up a few wins, but the big drama winner of the night, because you really like drama is like the big one. Comedy's great, but the drama category is kind of the prestigious, coveted Emmy.
Right.
And The Pit ended up being the big winner of the night, or as some people might refer to it, ER 2.0. If you haven't seen The Pit, it stars ER star Noah Wiley, and it is basically, imagine ER, but if the entire season were one shift and every episode is 1 hour of that shift. So one episode is 7 a.m., one at 9 a.m. So a lot of things. Pit won big, 5 Emmys. We got Tremel Tillman right there, who took home Best Supporting Actor in a Drama for Severance, because Severance did pick up a few, but not in the way The Pit did. In the comedy categories, we had a Chicago record broken because the previous comedy Emmy record, 10 wins at one time for a show called The Bear. And that was broken last night by Seth Rogen's The Studio.
What?
Took home 13 Emmy Awards, including the top categories, including Best Comedy, Best Acting, Best Actor in a Comedy, Best Directing in a Comedy, Best Writing. If you haven't seen The Studio, it's basically a show that makes fun of Hollywood executives. He's this new Hollywood executive, and he realizes how hard it is to actually win. To your point, Adolescence. A big winner in because aside from drama and aside from comedy, you've got the limited series, you know, the anthologies. Adolescence was a huge winner of the night. A lot of people thought it was going to be this battle between Adolescence and The Penguin, but the 15-year-old star of Adolescence, who was brilliant in that right there, had his Emmy handed to him by Sydney Sweeney. Can you imagine a better night if you're a 15-year-old kid?
Doesn't get better than
So big night for them. And then Tremel Tillman, who was brilliant in Severance. So yeah, Severance took home Best Actress in a Drama and Best Supporting Actor. So it had a decent night, not sweeping the way they thought it was going to.
What does this say to you then with the Seth Rogen win? Was Hollywood ready to just make fun of itself a little bit?
Here's a couple of things. A lot of people did reach out and go, well, how did The Studio, which a lot of people I would argue probably haven't seen.
What is it on?
It's on Apple.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, because a lot of people are like, oh, I love The Bear and I love Shrinking and I love, you know. Here's the thing about The Studio. One, Hollywood loves stories about itself. Hollywood, and particularly if you can make fun, because I love the show. I think it's great. I have a hard time recommending it to people, not because it's not good. It's a great show, but it's so inside baseball.
Yeah.
And it's so like, if you don't follow, like if you don't read Variety or read The Hollywood Reporter and know what's going on in the studio system, then, you know, or the battle that filmmakers have to have between shooting digitally or shooting on film, that's like right in my wheelhouse. So making a comedy about that feels like it's written for me. But like, I can't recommend that to my parents don't know like that Paramount is trying to buy Warner Brothers.
And that's kind of like the interesting part, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to give it a shot, I would love to get your thoughts on it. Like, if you guys don't follow that sort of stuff. But my thing is, like, the jokes are based on sort of those sort of headlines, you know, and a studio head and what a studio head does and the decisions of, you know, a big plot line is, you know, the studio looks at the success that Warner Brothers had with Barbie, and so Seth Rogen says, well, we need our own Barbie, we're going to make the Kool-Aid movie. And so it's all about, so it's kind of making fun of this idea of how these studio heads handle these things. 13 wins for that. Adolescence did well. You know, it's a fun night. What I always say is that what I love about these award shows is that, particularly something like the Oscars, if 10 people look at The Studio winning or look at The Pit winning or look at Adolescence winning and go, you know, I've been on the fence about it, I wasn't going to watch it, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. That's the best thing about it. It's not that these celebrities need a pat on the back. It's not that they need a golden trophy on the mantelpiece in their home. It's to get the word of the work out there. That's what I always love when a smaller film wins the Oscars. Avatar doesn't need to win Best Picture, but if a small little independent film made for $18 wins Best Picture, then more people are going to go see it. And the more people see a piece of art, the more people are talking about a piece of art, the more art breathes and the more art lives. lives, and that's ultimately what it's supposed to be about. I don't sleep better knowing that Seth Rogen has an Emmy, but I do sleep better knowing that it's a great show and maybe more people are going to watch, especially something like Severance.
I've never even heard of it.
It's great.
Yeah.
You know, they were only on Good Day Chicago a couple of months back.
What?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
what?
we had Seth Rogen and Catherine O'Hara and...
What?
And yeah, where were you?
Wait, like in person?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay.
I saw some faces up there in our B-roll that that I didn't necessarily recognize.
Yeah.
In your mind, any stars that made a speech last night that we should kind of maybe, hey, keep an eye out for what this person does next?
I'm very excited. To your point, the young boy from Cooper from Adolescence, I really, and I appreciated the message of his speech was, listen, I just, for the heck of it, took a drama class whenever I was a kid, and I was afraid of being made fun of, and I just thought, you know, I'll give it a shot. And all of a sudden, he goes, I'm standing in front of you. He goes, I never even thought I'd get to come to the United States, much less hold an Emmy. And his point was, sometimes even if you're afraid to do something, just do it. Who cares if someone makes fun of you for doing it? At least you're doing it, and who knows what could come of it. He took this class out of fear, you know, and was afraid someone might make fun of him. Sydney Sweeney handed him an Emmy last night. No one's making fun of him this morning.
Right.
He's doing just fine.
That's very inspiring.
Hollywood wanting to watch movies about themselves or shows about themselves.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the morning show.
Morning show, brilliant show, coming back for season 4 on Apple TV Plus. Guys, do we have time for the morning show? Yeah, all right, here's the deal. The celebrities, they love coming on Fox 32. They love coming on ChicagoNOW. They only spoke with one show in Chicago. These 2 up-and-coming TV stars, you may have heard of them, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon.
Ring a bell.
You know what? They've been on this show for 4 seasons now. The characters have changed a lot, but they've been in this business long enough so that they've changed too. And I wanted to know, when they go back and they look at clips of themselves when they were on Friends together, what's the difference between those 2 ladies and the ladies that I was speaking with for season 4 of the morning show? Here's what they had to say.
But ladies, always an honor to see both of you. You know I love this show so much, so seriously, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Jake.
Happy to see you, Jake.
I'm going to jump into this. It's honestly, it's been so incredible as a fan to watch these characters and how much they've changed over 4 seasons. What they want for themselves and their careers is different now than it was at the beginning of season 1. So I was wondering if we were to look at videos of you at the start of your career, what is the biggest difference in how you defined success then, what you wanted for your career at that moment in time, compared to what you want now and maybe how you define success today?
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God. I just wanted to get a job.
I know.
I just wanted to get a job.
Yeah.
A commercial would have been great. And I finally took 3 years to get one of those.
I just wanted air conditioning.
You just wanted
so
air
badly.
conditioning?
I was so hot in my apartment. I was like, if I ever make it, I hope I can get air conditioning.
Well, then you finally did.
I
How
finally
long
got
did it take for air conditioning?
Probably 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. You know, just like little incremental things like that. But now it's like completely different.
Yeah, you don't really see. Again, it's like, I just want to work. I just want to get a job. I don't. And then I didn't really, not that I didn't think about the quality. I really didn't. Well, I actually don't think I did. I was just grateful to have a job.
I love Leprechaun, by the way.
Look at it's in the cabinets.
Leprechaun.
Oh, see, there you go. I know. A lot of people do. I don't know why. It's not my favorite.
Hello? I need the police. This is an emergency.
Listen, whatever blows your hair back, you know?
This hair is not blowing. Nothing's moving this hair.
Here's the question. Anthony, have you seen Leprechaun?
No.
Come on.
I need to see it. Now I want to.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she loves that movie very much. I'm a big believer of, like, you know, because a lot of actors got their start in horror movies. Johnny Depp's first movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street. Kevin Bacon's first movie was Friday the 13th. Like, a lot of them get their start in horror. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It didn't seem like she was too big of a fan of that movie. I loved that movie when I was a kid. But yeah, they've been in this business a long time. I loved getting to see that little clip of them and Friends, because if you didn't know,
I did not know.
Yeah. Reese Witherspoon plays Rachel's little sister.
You were talking about how, like, you know, it takes kind of a little bit of inside knowledge to appreciate Seth Rogen's.
Yes.
Caitlin, I feel the opposite way about the morning show. Like, I test drove it and I was just like, this is too I'm too close to this. I don't want to necessarily sit.
And I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. You've hung in there on that one.
And maybe that's a female versus male thing. I don't know with this particular show, because I find it to be super interesting.
It's gotten very soap opera-y.
But I will say, yeah, it has. I will say, watching like the news outside of work. is ick for me.
Really? See,
Yeah.
anytime I travel or if I go anywhere, I always turn on the local stations.
Absolutely.
Like, I want to see what their show looks like. I want to see who their anchors are. I want to see like what their graphics package looks like. Is that nerdy?
I don't know.
Exact
Yes.
thing.
I heard yes.
Oh.
And my in-laws live in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes.
So I'm always
Well, you know what's so funny? This is a true story. So my folks live in kind of a smaller area of Texas, and I used to, every time I go, I always turn on the news and watch. And I was there a few years back and was watching their local news, and a young sports reporter popped up, and I was like, she's talented. She's going to go places. Her name was Tina Nguyen.
Oh,
No
Yeah.
way.
our very own.
Yeah, who now works here at Fox 32.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, she went from there to Vegas and then Vegas here. But that's how Tina and I first got connected, because she was a reporter in my.
We were able
I am
to
surprised
snatch
you're-
her from the
snatch her
jaws
away.
of
Yes.
Las Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you guys like watching the news outside
Yes.
and working
Absolutely.
at the
Try it sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, even love Mark Strell to death. Love Mark. But when my parents come to visit on the weekend, because my mom is an avid watcher.
Yeah.
She's watching right now, guarantee it.
Yeah.
She's
My
like,
mom
let's
too.
turn on the news and see what Mark says about, the day. Or Elizabeth. Obsessed with Elizabeth. But I don't want to watch the news when I'm not
Did you
working.
hear whose name she didn't say?
What?
Our name.
Jake and Anthony.
I said the weekend, you guys. When are you guys
Oh,
working
yeah.
on the
Okay.
weekend?
Okay. I'm just saying, we have feelings 7 days a week.
Jake, thank you for launching us on a Monday.
Love you guys.
And
I have to leave. I have to go bounce. I'm interviewing an up-and-coming actor named Sylvester Stallone.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's been in a couple.
He's been in a couple of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Demolition Man.
Amazing.
Thank goodness your eye isn't bleeding.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for bringing that up once again.
Camera one. Push in.
In front of the group.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
guys.
Control room, I hope you're doing okay with my eye. Back
I'm
home.
pulling your leg. I'm
Doing
pulling
okay
your
with
leg.
my
You can
eye.
hardly even see it.
All right, it's 10:21.
needs
On
to
the
zoom in.
line when we come back.
Camera's zooming.
As the village of Hinsdale cracked the code on e-scooters and e-bikes, we are going to be speaking with the village president, Mr. Greg Hart, right after this. Stay with us.
Mother's
Mm-hmm. 10:24. Welcome back. So Hinsdale and e-bikes. Hinsdale has been at the forefront of addressing the surge in e-bikes and e-scooters, a trend that has challenged communities across the Chicago region. And back in May of 2025, the village moved quickly to pass a new ordinance, step up police enforcement, and launch a new series of public education campaigns. Are we here, you guys? Are we on camera? We're just taking a moment here, but now, in just a few months later, New data shows that the proactive approach is paying off with a steep decline in citations, fewer complaints, and stronger compliance from riders. Joining us today is Hinsdale Village President Greg Hart, who says this combination of legislation, enforcement, and education could serve as a model for other towns, which is, you know, this e-bike situation is new to me to know that they're, in fact, in Lake Michigan. People
them
everywhere.
Well, people just throw them places.
That's wild.
Greg, can you hear us okay? Good morning.
I can hear you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on the program. Let's just start off by kind of revisiting what prompted Hinsdale to really take a close look at regulations when it came to e-bikes and e-scooters.
Well, right around May, or even when the weather was starting to warm, we noticed, due to a flurry of resident complaints and just our own observations, that there were a lot of individuals using these devices unlawfully, blowing through stop signs, going 50 miles an hour, for example, without a helmet, and the devices themselves were not being regulated the way they needed. We didn't know if they were street legal. So because of resident complaints, we took a hard look at this. We didn't want in Hinsdale, knowing that our primary responsibility is ensuring public safety, to wait until a tragedy happened. We wanted to be decisive and take action, and that's why we passed an ordinance shortly thereafter.
So what laws are you looking at putting in place to kind of correct these issues?
So in May, our village board actually passed an ordinance in response to a lot of the feedback that we've been getting that regulated how fast these devices can go. For example, an e-scooter can only go 10 miles an hour if it's riding on a sidewalk. An e-bike can only go up to 20 miles an hour. And we really started enforcing that ordinance. I think that's one thing to have a law on the books, but we gave our police department the ability to really send a message by giving warnings and citations. And within the first couple months of this ordinance being in place, the police issued over 150 warnings and citations. But so a lot. But we also coupled that with education. You know, we didn't want to just crack down for the sake of cracking down. We wanted to make sure that the riders knew how to use these bikes lawfully, and most importantly, that their parents knew the dangers and could communicate those dangers to their kids. And because of that three-pronged approach, coupling legislation, enforcement, and education, we've seen an 81% decrease in the amount of unlawful use of these devices in Hinsdale, showing that I think we've become a model for how to address this issue across the region.
That's a really impressive stat right there, 81% down. Let me ask you this, though. Of those 150 citations that you mentioned, what is the overall trend there? Are most of them speeding violations, or is it stuff like we see? I was telling the team here, Greg, on my way into work this morning, this is just this morning, I'm on a major street. It was Illinois Street here in the Loop. Someone just left an e-scooter in the middle of an entire lane of traffic, so everyone just had to go around it.
You know, the amount of incidents really is too many to count. I would say in Hinsdale, most of the citations that have been issued dealt with the bikes themselves. Okay. I think one of the challenging components of this is that with increased popularity of e-bikes and e-scooters, there was also increased incidents of people just going online and ordering these bikes, you know, on Amazon or any other site from overseas, and they weren't street legal in the United States. So I think most of the enforcement that we saw had to do with the bikes themselves, but it really spanned the gamut. And you know, the positive thing about the enforcement, even though I know there were likely some people that took issue with how much we were enforcing this, it gave the message out that this is something that we're taking seriously. And I think that's why you've seen more regular bikes in Hinsdale streets. So, you know, that's one thing that was commented to me from residents over the summer months. They saw kids pedaling again instead of pressing a button. And we think that's a positive thing. And look, that's not to say that these devices don't have value. We all know that across Chicagoland, mobility is an issue, and so we want to make sure people have the ability to get where they need to in the way that's easiest for them, but they have to do it legally. You can't be ignoring the rules of the road. You need to make sure the devices that you're using are legal, and that's what we've done.
You know, on Instagram, I have all of the mom stuff sent to me. You mentioned getting parents in the know about the dangers of these modes of transportation. And one of the things that I've seen is ER doctors, where they make these videos and they say, as an ER doctor, this is what I would not allow my child to do. And one of the items that I hear all the time are motorized, like e-scooters, those scooters. You mentioned the limit of 10 miles per hour on the sidewalks. if people drive these things, are they allowed to take them on the roads? Are kids, are adults allowed to go on the roads and then they can go faster?
It's a great question. And one of the biggest question marks we've received from residents is, how do you know what's an e-bike versus an e-scooter? Because to the untrained eye, it's very difficult to see. And really, state law classifies e-bikes as anything that can go 750 miles per hour, or excuse me, 750 watts, and that generally equates to about 28 miles an hour. So we allow e-scooters on the sidewalks. We don't allow e-bikes on the sidewalks. And so it really depends on the device about the rules. But again, that's why education is so important, because unless you knew how the state classified these devices, it really would be difficult to tell just by looking at them. But I think one thing that is important to note is, even though we've seen the success, Caitlin, in Hinsdale with the decrease or with the increased compliance, we're not resting on our laurels. We know that this is something we need to stay on top of. So enforcement's going to continue. But what we hope to do in the coming months, especially as the weather gets a little cooler, we're likely going to see less use of these devices anyway, is step up the education, partnering with our school districts here in Hinsdale, partnering with our police department to get the word out and increase people's understanding of what each of these bikes are, what rules apply to them, and really how they can use them safely.
My oldest, Greg, is 9, so he's not at the age where he can ride one, but we live on a bike trail. I'm not kidding you. I think he said he's seen these things go up to like 50 miles per hour. There are kids that will zoom by. They've got the, you can tell it's just their birthday, and they're
super excited. Yeah.
It is wild to me because they're essentially like full power motorcycles.
Yeah.
I mean, level we're talking about. So I did see an email from our local school district saying that they're not allowed to ride these things to school. You mentioned partnering with the school districts is an important element of this. How involved are they so far, the school district, in cracking down on these? And are kids in Hinsdale still on any level allowed to ride them to class?
The school district has been a great partner, and over the next couple months, we're going to be rolling out some new PSAs. We're going to increase the availability of resources that the village can provide to school districts. I think in terms of kids riding them to school, it has been fairly limited ever since we started this new effort in Hinsdale, which I think is a positive thing. But just like any law that's being pushed, it's not so much about the enforcement and the law, it's about behavior change. And that's why I think we need to continue to partner with the school districts. But the parents also play a huge role in this. You mentioned that you were joking about it was probably someone's birthday.
Yeah.
One thing that parents have confided in me and have told me, and why I've gotten so much positive views from parents on what Hinsdale's doing, is that there is a fair amount of peer pressure that goes into this. Johnny or Susie get an e-bike, and Timmy wants one as well. That's why I think we have to understand we're not going to completely eliminate the use of these devices, nor would we want to do that. But it's all about responsible riding, and just as much as the village government can partner with the school district, we have to partner with the parents as well, because we all know education really starts at home.
So speaking of pushback, what are the negative comments that you've had from people who maybe purchased a bike or a scooter and want to use it the way they want to use it?
Well, I think with any type of new rule that's being pushed out, there's a fair amount of individuals who think that the government might be going a little bit too far in addressing this issue, especially since the feedback from the kids that use them is that they're incredibly fun to use. But really, that's not our concern. Our concern is about making sure that people remain safe. So there were a few parents who reached out and had some issues with how we were approaching this. In some cases, some of those parents had children who had maybe received a warning or a citation. But really, I think 90% of the feedback we've gotten in Hinsdale after our ordinance was passed and the enforcement stepped up has been positive. People knew that there was an issue we needed to address. I mean, how many close calls are we going to allow before we take action? And so sometimes, as you can imagine, in government or in anything, the smallest number of voices can sometimes be the loudest. But I think the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive.
If a 12-year-old kid is on an e-bike or an e-scooter, violating the rules, running a stop sign, running a stoplight at 20 miles an hour, what is the recourse there? Like, if the kid doesn't have ID, like, is that kid cited, or how does that work when they're not of age?
It really is a case-by-case approach, and again, our primary focus was education, right? So when we saw unlawful use of any of these devices for whatever they were doing that was against the ordinance. The police's first instinct was not to just throw the book at the kid and write a citation or take away their license. We really leaned into education. We gave a lot more warnings than we did citations during the early part of this implementation. However, I would say if there's repeated failure to comply with the ordinance, that's where we had a few more tools at our disposal. And again, this wasn't our first step, but we reserved the right to actually issue state of Illinois citations versus citations just about the Hinsdale's Villages ordinance. And the reason why that's noteworthy is that if you receive a state of Illinois citation, that could affect a minor's ability to get their driver's license.
Oh, wow.
Which, as you can imagine, if there's a peer pressure issue relating to the possession of these bikes in the first place, imagine if they can't get their license when they turn 16. And again, this isn't something that we had joy with, but you have to get the message across somewhere, because these are dangerous devices if they're not used properly, and we just wanted to make sure people were safe. And what I'm proud of is that we've really developed a model that I think can be replicated in other suburbs. We're not unique in Hinsdale to this issue. You mentioned along the lakefront, these e-bikes and e-scooters are very prevalent. This is a regional, if not a national issue that all of us are dealing with, but early approach and early adoption of a solution really makes sense. Hinsdale leaned into that, and we've seen through our data 81% decrease in unlawful use of these devices, that this is working, and we look forward to this being adopted hopefully regionally. And we're here to help in any way with any of our peer communities, because this is something that affects all of us.
So you mentioned education, and no pressure on this, but I'm sure you guys have done extensive research about how these are dangerous. Could you send a message home to people who are watching who maybe have one of these devices, so that they can realize how dangerous they are? Like, do you have those stats in front of you by chance?
Well, what I can say is that any device on which an individual, it doesn't matter their age, is going 50 miles an hour and without a helmet, that's something that should never be accepted. And again, we've heard from a variety of different communities about challenges and actually accidents that have taken place with these e-bikes. Fortunately, because of what we've done in Hinsdale, that hasn't been the case for our community, but that's not to say it can't be in the future. So my message to parents is have a conversation with your kids about these devices. If you're going to give your kids one of these devices, make sure they know how to use them legally, lawfully, and safely. And the Village of Hinsdale has resources available on our website, villageofhinsdale.org, that you can reference that shows what our ordinance actually is undertaking. But look, it's a parental decision on whether or not they want to give their children these devices. But if they do decide to do that, please make sure that they know the rules of the road, they follow the traffic rules of the road, because ultimately it's about their safety, not so much about enforcement. It's keeping people safe when they're using these devices.
All right, Greg, we're going to leave it there, but I commend you on all your success. Stats sound really great, and I commend the Hinsdale community for really getting out in front of this problem as much as possible.
Thank you so much. No, we're proud to be proactive, and again, if there's any questions or concerns from anyone watching, we'd be happy to share our best practices. But thank you so much for shining a light on this important issue.
Absolutely. Have a great one, sir.
Thank you. You too.
It's remarkable how, with all this new technology that is coming online, and how easy it is to get it. You could order one of these things off Amazon with the click of a button.
Yeah.
We've got young kids that are going to be clamoring for these things.
Right.
And I can't tell you how often we'll be walking down the path and some kid will go by on what looks like honestly, it's like a motorcycle.
Because it's so fast.
It's an e-bike. A motorcycle. To our point off the top of the show, trying to keep our kids alive and safe.
Even my 6-year-old, when she rides her regular scooter, I'm like, you can't ride this unless you have a helmet on. Because in my mind, I picture her just falling off and hitting their head. And to his point, these things go 50 miles per hour sometimes.
Yeah. Now I will say, most of the times I do see the kid with a helmet on, and I'm not talking about a little Bell bike helmet. It's got the whole chin.
Like they're on motocross or
exactly.
something.
But still, you know what I mean? It's a lot that's a lot of horsepower for a little guy.
It teeters the line of like, do you need a license to drive one of these things?
Hey, that will get through too. Did you notice what he said about, hey, if you get a state of Illinois citation,
you're not
buddy,
going to drive.
You don't want to be 16 years old and you won't be able to get your license like that.
Tell your kids that. Tell your kids that. Yeah.
All right, we got another, well, this also has to do with kids again. 1 in 5 U.S. children right now are living with some kind of incurable illness. And here in Chicagoland, 300,000 kids. 300,000 kids are living with some type of incurable illness. Now, there is a really cool agency called Bounce Children's Foundation that is all about supporting all these families, and we're going to be talking to them about one or two of their strategic initiatives that they have in place. So stay with us. We're going to meet Joan Steltman. She is the founder and CEO of the Bounce Children's Foundation when we come back after this short break.
Just about 10:43, and we are joined by Joan Steltman. She's the founder and CEO of Bounce Children's Foundation. So as Anthony mentioned, 1 in 5 U.S. children living with an incurable disease, believe it or not. And here in Chicagoland, more than 300,000 kids alone. So since 2015, Bounce Children's Foundation has supported hundreds of families with chronically ill children, helping them shift from surviving to thriving. And on their 10-year anniversary, Bounce is announcing 3 strategic initiatives for the next 10 years that will dramatically change the scope of their impact. So good morning to you. Thanks for coming.
Joan.
Good morning to both of you. It's wonderful to be here.
Good. So let's start off with Bounce Children's Foundation. What is your organization?
We are committed to helping those 1 in 5 kids that we talked about that grow up battling a chronic illness. They have a disease or a disability that the medical community can't cure. And it impacts them and their entire family. And our whole focus is to get them to shift from surviving to thriving, because they deserve to be kids. They deserve to have more in their life than just being sick.
What kinds of conditions are we talking about here?
That's a great question, Anthony. It really runs the gamut. About half our kids have a medical challenge rooted in neurology, whether that's cerebral palsy or spina bifida or epilepsy or traumatic brain injury. But we also have children battling cancer, organ transplants, rare genetic diseases, gastrointestinal, type 1 diabetes, gunshots, amputations. It's anything. And kids that are medically complex that the medical community, quite frankly, doesn't have a specific diagnosis for, but they're really sick. All of our kids are very sick. They tend to be medically complex and medically fragile.
So we're seeing some video here of different locations that you guys have been to, ice skating. We saw another one that looked like it was almost in I don't know if it was in the hospital or not. Can you talk about where do you guys go? Do you meet them where they're at? Do you go to their houses? Do you take the kids out of the hospital? Like, what are you guys doing day to day?
Great question. So when these children are in the hospital, they get a tremendous amount of support from the pediatric hospital community. In addition to the clinical medical support, they get a lot of support to help them deal with the trauma of being sick. And there are a lot of volunteers, celebrities with jerseys and comfort dogs and corporate volunteers with teddy bears. But when these children go home and our kids remain sick, all of that support disappears. They still have medical care, but no one is seeing them and supporting them, and they become extremely isolated. And by extension, their families are isolated. So our goal is to build a community, a place for them to belong. We get them out of the house. So twice a month, we host an event custom designed to support these kids and welcome and include them, as well as the rest of their family, their healthy brothers and sisters, their parents, so they can go do something and participate in a bit of normalcy and what other kids are doing. We send care packages at the holidays to these families. Holidays are really hard. If everyone is going to go to grandma's for Thanksgiving and your child rides a wheelchair and grandma's house is not ADA accessible, you're not going. If it's 4th of July in our country, 300 million people are going to fireworks, barbecues, parades, and you're sitting home knowing that's happening and you can't be part of it because your child is immunocompromised and can't be in a crowd, or they can't regulate their body temperature and therefore can't be out in the heat. Extremely difficult on the family. So we send care packages.
It's comforting to know that you all exist. How did this all get started? Was there a certain patient or a certain case that was personally connected to you as the founding member, or how did that work?
That's a question we talk about a lot. I am blessed. My daughter is very healthy, but I volunteered in a pediatric hospital during college. And I started to understand what it's like for the sickest of our kids. And I've always advocated for kids as a volunteer, even as I was building my career, and decided I needed to switch and make that my career. And as I had volunteered and worked in this space, I learned from the families, this is what they need. This is the gap in the system. No one else was helping them once they got out of the hospital with the ongoing trauma and isolation and invisibility, with the everyday hardships that come to control their lives, and how that shows up for everyone in the family. And so it was that insight with an amazing group of volunteers that were willing to step up and partner with me to create this new organization. And now it's been 10 years.
That's amazing. And I want to hear about your new initiatives, but I just got to say too, like I could imagine for these family members, the connection that they have with other families who are going through the same thing. Have you found that they kind of come together and become friends and lean on each other and ask for advice?
100%, Caitlin, and that to me is one of the things that makes us special. When a family joins, they stay with us up to 21 years. So there's time to see families over and over at events, and they do make friends. Kids make friends, siblings make friends, parents make friends. One of our programs also is an online community that's private just to these parents, so they connect and help each other. And it might be, and these are all true stories, we were just told my 12-year-old needs to have her spine rebuilt. Who can I trust? That's not a Yelp question.
No.
Right.
Love Yelp for what it does, right? But in the course of a weekend, you can get 3 qualified recommendations from families that have already been through it, who also say, call me, I'll tell you our story.
Yeah, I love that.
I will help you.
When we talk about chatbots and everything, this is the difference between when you have a human and when you have Yelp or a chatbot.
And someone who's lived your experience. You know, as humans, we need to connect. And we seek advice and comfort and support and knowledge from people that have a common experience. We learned this during the pandemic. The pandemic was hard for us to all be shut in, and we craved that human connection. Our families live with isolation similar to the pandemic on a permanent basis. And now they're doing it alone. It's not the whole planet. So that ability to bring them together, to support each other, is a vital part of what we do, and it's the only way they tell us they can find each other.
And I'm guessing that's going to be a central piece of this next 10 years. We got 10 years in the books, 10 years on the horizon. As Caitlin just alluded to, take us through some of these initiatives that are going to be kind of guiding your work over the coming decade.
We had a fabulous celebration last week of our 10 years of success. And as I told our closest donors and volunteers and friends and partners, we've only just begun, because there are so many kids. And so we're highly focused on expanding our capacity here in Chicago. That means more space to be able to support more families. It means expanding beyond Chicago, because there's sick kids all over the country. This will always be home, but we want to help kids in other geographies. It's enhancing our infrastructure, whether that's technology to reach families and the staff, the human capital it needs to provide this very personal, very impactful connection and support. It's also empowering our growth, making sure we have the financial strength to always be there for these families, because we make them a promise that we will show up for them on an ongoing basis, and we don't want to disappoint.
So throwing some numbers at this, I'm looking through your program here. It looks like you had 17,850 attendees for this Bounce Bash.
Yes.
How many kids are you impacting?
Wow.
Those numbers still blow me away.
I mean, that's,
We right now have 501 active families in the program, and that's about 2,400 people. Right? Because again, it's mom and dad, and it's brothers and sisters, and the kids. Yes. And so over 10 years, 17,850 people have come to these events to be with us.
That's incredible.
And we've shipped almost 20,000 care packages. Excuse me, 10,000 care packages.
And those are for the holidays.
And I bet that takes a lot of work. And on that note, before you go, tell everybody how they can get involved. I bet a lot of people will hear this and say, that's something I could do.
Yeah.
I could help put together those care packages. I would love to get involved with this.
We would love everyone's help, because we can't do this alone. We have a very small team. So individuals can come volunteer at our Bounce Bash events. For example, we're about to throw an enormous Halloween party inside where it's safe for all kids. We build a neighborhood to trick-or-treat indoors, and we do carnival games. So there's events like that where people can volunteer throughout the year. We always need groups to help pack the care packages. So if you've got a group of employees or neighbors or friends or a book group or an alumni group or a community service organization, we'd love to team up with you to pack those care packages. And then, of course, we need help in the back office. So anybody who's more of a behind-the-scenes person can make a huge difference as well.
One thing that also occurs to me is if someone's watching this and wondering, hey, you know what, my child is dealing with an incurable illness, how can they find out if they could qualify to become part of Bounce?
Thank you for asking that really important question, because that's key. We want to reach those families. They can find us online and on social media at bouncechildrensfoundation.org. We partner with 28 pediatric hospitals and healthcare organizations here in Chicago. So from La Rabida to Lurie to Advocate to Rush to Make-A-Wish, Ronald McDonald House, Easter Seals, all of those groups are sending families to us, or they can call us at 844-6-BOUNCE. We would love to welcome them in. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that we are privately funded. And so anyone who's compelled to make a financial gift to help us is really making this transformation possible. And when you're helping a child, no gift is too small. Every dollar counts.
All right, Bounce Children's Foundation.
Love
Joan, thank you so much.
Joan Stubb.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you are doing.
It
what
is
a blessing to have.
Truly an honor to help these kids and their families. And I thank you both for giving us a chance to spread the word. Thank you. I know.
Awesome.
So much more to come.
Yes, indeed.
It'll be wonderful.
All right, Joan, thank you so much.
Thank
we'll be back with more Chicago Now right after this, everybody.
These days.
Welcome back. We have another billionaire to talk about.
Not just any.
A new one. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Women billionaires, that's our headline. According to the Wall Street Journal, of the 1,135 billionaires in the U.S., about 86% are men, leaving just over 150 women, or roughly 14%, to make up the remainder. So, of course, we've talked about Taylor Swift being a billionaire. But now Selena Gomez, too, is a billionaire. Do you think Justin Bieber is? I know there's always a Selena Bieber thing. Who has more?
I think it's a pretty exclusive club, and I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because, you know, this actually did kind of shock me, because Taylor Swift did not shock me for a second, right?
Yeah.
It's Selena Gomez. I didn't know she was that big. However, her beauty line.
That's what I was going to say.
That's where the dough is, right?
That's where the dough is. Same
and I don't think Justin Bieber's got a beauty line, right? Kylie Jenner, and then he's not a billionaire. We are hearing. Tougher for the gents to start a beauty line.
I was wondering, like, where is it just young people buying these products? Because I didn't know that Selena had a beauty line either.
Are you a? I mean, obviously you.
I guess
you go to places like what, Ulta and.
CVS.
Oh, CVS.
You know, they probably don't have the Selena Gomez special at CVS.
Because maybe it's like real upscale where you got to go to like a boutique.
Sure, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so here's some deets. Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez among the ranks, as we were just mentioning. Taylor Swift reached billionaire status in 2023, largely thanks to a record-shattering Eras tour, which grossed over $2 billion. With album sales, tours, film revenue, and real estate, her net worth is estimated to be about $1.6 billion. Selena Gomez built her fortune through acting, and as you mentioned, her beauty line, it's called Rare Beauty.
Rare Beauty.
Valued at $2 billion. See, I don't even follow her on social media, so she probably posts about it all the time. But owning a majority stake plus her entertainment earnings brought her net worth to about $1.3 billion. Rihanna became a billionaire. We just talked about her in 2021 through Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, with Forbes currently valuing her wealth at $1.4 billion. Kim Kardashian. So hers was the shapewear brand.
$4 billion for Kim K. Skims. Shapewear.
Okay, so I didn't know that. Oh, her shapewear brand is valued at that. Okay, so $1.7 billion. That was the Kardashian thing. I was wondering too, because I feel like Kylie was the first one to get that status.
Go ladies. Go ladies. 1,135 billionaires, and 14% of them are the ladies.
Makeup.
I'm impressed.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
We are getting the wrap. Tia Ewing waiting in the wings right now for another hour of Chicago Now. Stay with us.
Fox.
Welcome to Chicago Now. It is 11:01 on your Monday morning. I am Tia Ewing, coming off of a really exciting weekend, and we're going to have a lot of exciting things coming up in this particular show. But first, I want to recognize a Chicagoan. This is definitely worth being on TV today. This is Sophronia Grooms. She turned 100 over the weekend. She has 4 children, 10 grandchildren, 18 great-grandchildren, and 3 great-great-grandchildren. She is from Brighton, Tennessee. That's where she was born, but has lived in Chicago for 80 years. She lives in the North Lawndale neighborhood, and she worked at Crown Cork and Steel for 36 years. And get this, this was really astounding when I heard this. I was like, what? Where is she? Come on out. There she is right there. That's Sophronia sitting at the table, all decked out. She has gone to Metropolitan Missionary Baptist Church for 80 years, and 2 years ago is when she stopped singing in the choir. Just 2 years ago. She is the big 100, and I asked her family, I said, you know, what was she attribute her long life to? And she said, trusting in God. Look at her there. I mean, she is shining bright. Happy birthday to you, Sophronia Grooms. We wanted to get that out of the way. Definitely worth being honored. She does not look a day over 20, if you ask me. All right. Let's talk about some other great things we have coming up in the show. Okay, so you know the Salt Shed has concerts all the time, but this is like a really interesting combination that they're doing. They're combining movement and music with live sets from Jamila Woods, Vic Mensa. We're going to talk about that festival. It's like a choose your own adventure type of festival. We're going to talk about that coming up. And then later, I don't even really want to talk about this. I knew we would talk about it, but it was like one of those things I'm like, do we really have to talk about it? And that's the Bears beat down. Not bear down, beat down is what I'm going to call it. We lost. I'm sure you watched it. 52 points is what those Detroit Lions had. 21 is what we had. And we're going to be talking to Barstool Eddie to break it all down of what the Bears did wrong and maybe what they can get right for the next game. Okay, but first, we are going to be talking about Emmys. We're going to have that coming up a little later in our newscast about, I shouldn't say newscast, I'm so used to being on the news in this show, about the Emmys. I don't know if you guys watched, but I had a favorite. My favorite, I must admit, it was probably between Angela Bassett, to be honest with you. That was like one that I was like, woo, she looked really good, and Shirley Ralph. We're going to be talking to an expert all about the fashion that you saw hit the runway and all of those amazing things. And the guest is here to talk about it. Marcellus Reynolds, fashion expert, stylist, author of Supreme Sirens, Supreme Actresses. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Whose clothes are those behind you?
Listen, I just did my summer to fall winter swap out.
Okay.
So all of these looks are all coordinated for this fall winter. I am ready.
Okay, I see you're ready. Maybe I need to have you come to my closet. Okay, we got to talk about what yes, you need to come check it out. Well, first you got to be able to get in it. So I got to do some work on that front, Marcellus. But let's talk about what we saw last night. It seemed like there was a trend, at least with the men. You know, typically when you go to these awards, you watch them. It seems like there's a solid color that we're always looking at. It's either blue or black. There was some color in the house last night.
There was a ton of color in the house last night. Seth Rogen, who won an Emmy last night, actually, I think, led that charge. He had on this amazing sort of rust brown orangey tux by Etro, and it was really beautiful. And I love that monochrome sort of look. I love that it's double-breasted. Talk about couples dressing, which we're seeing right now, how her dress goes really nicely. The color of her dress goes really nicely with his tuxedo. I thought he looked incredible. And it's also kind of funny because he's been doing the exact same thing with his character on The Studio.
True, you're right. Was that velvet, that jacket? I'm not trying to be funny,
yes.
But it almost looked like velvet.
Seth brought out like swag, and so that was what I loved about this kind of untraditional menswear. We're so used to seeing men in the black tux, but here he is in this like beautiful color, and then there's even the addition of texture of a different fabric. It just looks so like rich and luxe. I thought it was a great look.
What did you think about Coleman Domingo? Because I feel like every time you see him, he really, you know, steps out and steps up. What did you think about his look last night?
I think, well, this is not Coleman Domingo.
That's not him yet.
This is Cobra Cook.
Yeah, what did you think about him?
Cooper Cook, I like this too. Again, there was a lot of brown on the runway, or there was a lot of this like sort of brown, deep, like sort of like rust color on the runway, and I love that. I love seeing men in color, any color other than black, especially for black tie. And Cooper was wearing a tux by Calvin Klein, and that's a designer that we all know, but we're not used to seeing him on the red carpet, so I thought that that was a great choice.
Okay.
Now, Coleman Domingo is so clearly identified with Valentino, and Coleman Domingo, I think, is single-handedly, if there's one person I think is responsible for this idea of changing how men dress on the red carpet, it's single-handedly Coleman Domingo with that level of confidence and swag. And it's also with Coleman Domingo, it's about tailoring. And that Valentino look he worked last night was just beautiful. Again, it wasn't about like black tie. It wasn't about like a head-to-toe black look. It was color. It was like print. And it was lovely how he mixed, again, like this light blue with brown, which is also a color combination you don't see too often.
Let me ask you something, because you mentioned color, but I'm looking at those clothes. There's Coleman. He is. Oh my God, he never goes wrong. I don't know who's responsible for these looks.
He never gets it wrong. Goodness. Well, what I love about Coleman too is that he figured out who his like designer muse was, and that's who he's sticking with. So he works super closely with the team at Valentino. 9 times out of 10, when you see 9.9 times out of 10, when you see Coleman on the red carpet, he is literally wearing Valentino. It's a designer that he understands, and it's a designer and a team that understands him. And I think that the two of them together are really creating something that's really beautiful and impactful and literally changing menswear.
Let me ask you something. You were talking about that brown kind of easing in for this season coming up. I'm looking behind you. I see a little brown. Is that the same? A little. Is that the same for women too, this upcoming season?
No, I think what we're going to see, usually it's with women, it's almost like what trends happen in women's wear sort of drive what happens in men's wear. I think in women's wear this season, though, we're going to see a lot of jewel tones. We're going to see a lot of like bright colors for fall and winter. Earlier I heard you talk about Shirley Ralph. Last night, that beautiful color, that was incredible. Gayle King wore this beautiful orange dress. So we're not going to see necessarily like this idea of like brown and gray for fall for women. We're definitely going to see color for them.
What did you think about Jenna Ortega? I'm sorry. What did you think about her?
This must have been the most talked about, buzzed about look of the night. Do I like it? No, I don't.
Why? Why didn't you like it? I'm going to let you say it.
You know, I'm going to give it to you for real. I saw this look on the runway, and this is one of those looks that it's like, okay, it works on the runway, it works on like a 5'10" model, but when you translate it to the real world and you translate it to real situations, it doesn't work. But Jenna, much like her character Wednesday, has created this sort of real cool girl, gothy, sort of fashion-y, dark moment in her dressing. And I think that this outfit goes right along with it. And if you're talking about what the effect of the red carpet is, and if you're talking about like getting eyes on a look and eyes on a house, everybody, the moment she hit the red carpet, started talking about that look. They started talking about that piece, which was one of the key pieces from that collection. So she did what she had to do. She did what she was supposed to do.
That's what I was going to ask you. Sometimes I know like us, the people watching it are like, oof, I don't know why she would do that. But a lot of times those outfits really do buzz and you see them trending in media. And sometimes I wonder if that is the reasoning behind it, because now maybe your name hadn't been, you know, in the spotlight as much. You're thrusted back into the spotlight all over again.
The right dress, and it's not the same with men, but the right dress on the right woman can really result in sales for that design house and buzz for that actress. This is one of those looks that we'll be talking about next year. We'll be talking about it the year after. This might end up as one of those looks that's perennially either on the best dressed list or the worst dressed list.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it's a moment. It's like Angelina Jolie with the restless leg thing. Remember when she wore that?
Remember.
There's certain dresses that become part of our consciousness. And I think that this outfit has the capacity to be that. For the Emmys, this isn't even the Oscars. This is the opening salvo. And Gina came out swinging. Swinging.
She did.
She's not playing with us.
Who did you think really nailed it? If you had to give a woman out of all of the ladies in the women's category, who in your opinion really nailed it?
I loved that classic red, beautiful gown that Selena wore.
Yeah, Selena Gomez. Yeah, I loved it too.
Selena Gomez. I thought it was just beautifully executed. I loved the little bit of a train, not a big train, but that like sort of long like scarf that came out behind her. I love when people wear red on the red carpet and get it right. I just thought that this dress was elegant. And you know what's happening with Selena Gomez? She has like a theme and she's like continuing to build on that theme. Much like Jenna Ortega is doing this sort of gothy fashion, high fashion thing, Selena is doing this old Hollywood goddessy thing.
I like it.
And it's working really well for her. She's positioning herself. She's using clothes to position herself as a real, beautiful, old school Hollywood siren actress. And I think that that's a precursor of where she wants to go in her career.
And who was that dressed by? Was that Louis Vuitton?
That was Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton was not playing last night. They dressed so many people and they got very few. I don't think they got anybody wrong, to be honest. Normally when you see like one designer sort of dominate on the red carpet, that designer will like kind of like make at least one mistake, maybe two mistakes. Not last night with Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton was like, bang, we getting this right.
What did you think about the color? Because I do feel like, maybe it's just me, but oftentimes when I see Louis Vuitton, they don't go color as much.
I agree with you, absolutely. And again, I think that that's, actresses and actors have power. They can go to the team at the design atelier and they can say, hey, are you interested in dressing me for this event? Or the design team will come to them and they'll say, hey, we want to dress you for this. What do you want to wear? What's going to make you feel good? Is there a color that you're looking for? Is there a color that you love? You know, we're so used to seeing red for Valentino. So when this outfit first came out, I was like, oh, she's wearing Valentino. So when I found out it was Louis Vuitton, I was like, wow, that's a departure from the house, much like you just said. But I thought it was beautiful because a lot of times you don't want to do just another black dress when you're an actress on the red carpet. It kind of falls flat no matter how beautiful that dress is because you're going to see 100 black dresses. So why not go with red?
Okay, so we got like 40 seconds. So I'm going to use you here to give our viewers a little advice. So for the men coming up fall, winter, what would you say should be a go-to? And for the ladies, you got 40 seconds to pull this off.
Okay, for men, boot cut, flare pants. Get away from skinny pants. Skinny jeans, skinny pants are done. Stop wearing jeggings, stop wearing leggings. The new silhouette is a wider leg pant. For women, continue with color. You can't go wrong. If you're scared of doing color, incorporate color into your outfit with accessories and go big and go bold.
I like that. So you're saying like maybe you don't want to wear a whole bunch of color. You may want to wear a black dress, but the earrings are red or pink or blue or...
Exactly.
Got it.
Or you're going to do a black dress, do an incredibly bright shoe with it. Do black leggings with like a bright colored heel. Do like some bright enameled like jewelry or bracelets as Gayle King did the other night. That's the way to add color. That's the way to add a trend without feeling like, oh my God, am I getting it right? Oh my God, this is a little scary. You're just adding a little bit of fun, a little bit of zhoosh.
I love it. All right, we got to have you come back in the studio next time so you can actually show us style some folks so we can see it in live action. Anybody that's interested in following you, finding out about your services, where can they go?
I'm Marky Mark on Instagram, and I'm there every single moment. It's MARQUEE, like naming lights, MARC.
I love it. You are the moment. Don't get it twisted. All right, Marcellus Reynolds, it was a pleasure having you on the show today. We'll see you in person next time.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
All right, and somebody is texting you. You better respond. All right, we'll see you later.
It's my mama.
She must didn't know. Or she's like, I see you on TV, or she didn't know you were on TV, one or the other. All right, thank you so much for being with us. All right, well, coming up, we are talking about the First Lady's Health Initiative. We'll have that right after this break. Welcome back to Chicago Now. This is where we kind of sit down, slow the show down a little bit, and talk about something really important. And this is really all about ladies' health, especially. The First Ladies Health Initiative is bringing together faith leaders, medical professionals, and also the community. It's happening this coming Saturday. We're already looking forward to the weekend, aren't we? This is exciting. And we're really focusing on maternal health and resources for the community. And joining me now to talk more about this is Marquise Alston Allison, the Executive Director of the First Ladies Health Initiative, and Deborah Brooks, the First Lady of Grace Central Church. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Let's talk about why this is so important. I was looking at the statistics, and I think, you know, I've heard this before, but maybe some people watching are familiar. Black mothers are 6 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than white mothers, a rate 30% higher than the national average. So obviously, you want to kind of bring those numbers down. Why is it so important to have this event coming up this Saturday?
So it's about awareness. You know, at the First Ladies Health Initiative, that's what we try to do. We try to bring awareness. We try to bring deep conversations into the community, and it's important because Chicago, in particularly, we're in Los Angeles, Chicago, and Atlanta. In Chicago, it's 6 times more likely. That's higher than Atlanta. It's higher than Chicago. Than LA. And so we're just trying to bring that statistic down by utilizing our First Ladies, our Congresswomen, our commissioners, and people in the community.
First Lady, let me ask you this. Why is it important to have this in a church setting?
Because people trust, or at least they should trust, their faith leaders. I've been in the organization for quite some time, and this health fair is actually a collaborative effort, all of the churches, but we each have had them at our own churches, and I tell this story a lot. When I first started having it, I made all my parishioners do it. And we had one who was in the medical field. She was a nurse, and she didn't do it because she thought she needed it. She did it because I asked her, and found out that she had hypertension. She didn't believe it, but she followed up with her doctor the following week, and it was confirmed that she needed to do some preventative things to bring her blood pressure under control. And so it's important that we meet them where they are. We bring it to our communities, and it's free. it's free. So.
You gotta love free, right? Yes. And especially now, because we're seeing how so many different health programs are being cut.
Yes.
Not trying to get political, but we've seen that happen in our communities. I was looking at some of the pictures. This is a big crowd that you draw. What will people see when they come out to this event? What kind of needs are being met?
Yeah, so there'll be screenings, there'll be vaccines that'll be available. It's flu season, so definitely come and get your screen shot, your flu shot. There's also maternal health resources and prizes that you can win. There's also counselors that are set up. There's midwives and doulas who will be on site. And if there's something I can urge the population to think is doula. It's something that was taken away from us. It was criminalized back in the 1900s, but it's back. And Illinois is covering insurance with midwives and doulas, so that's something that we want to be at the forefront as birthing women go into hospitals. Know that you're not alone, and there are voices that are there with you.
It's interesting you bring that up, because I often hear, I didn't have a doula, but I often hear that doulas are advocates,
yes.
especially for mothers that are part of these statistics. Explain for people that maybe they're pregnant, maybe they've never thought about a doula, why a doula is a great option.
Yes, so a doula is like an attorney in the birthing room. And so when your family is advocating for you, or you can't advocate for yourself, that is what a doula does. What they do is they set up pre-care, post-care, and while you're there, they're there during birth. So it's a really important tool that helps mothers go home with their babies, because we're seeing that mothers are not going home with their babies, and so that's something that we want to change.
First Lady, let me bring it back to you. You said that a lot of churches collaborate and do this together. How many different churches are coming together to make this happen?
I believe there are about 15 to 20 churches that are coming together, but I also want to stress, although this is the First Ladies, it's not just for women.
Right, yes.
Men, women, children, everyone can come. Seniors, young people, everyone should come to this event, so yes.
Tell me what's different this year compared to last year, because you've been having it how many years now?
On maternal health, this is our first initiative for maternal health. We just finished up in LA. We had a wonderful conversation in LA. We had 2 doctors. Only 5% of doctors are black. And we had 2 black doctors representing in LA. We have Dr. Robin Jones of Rush that'll be here in Chicago, and you have melanated midwiferys who will also be there, and doulas. So it's a unique conversation, because we're bringing a specific topic and honing in on it, and really hitting it on the head, using spirituality, using political, using the medical, and using Kirsten Corley-Bennett, who is going to give a personalized testimony to her own birthing experience here in Chicago.
Let me ask you this, because oftentimes when we do stories like this and we post them on social media, we get people in the comments that say, well, who cares if the doctor is black, long as it's somebody that's qualified? Why in certain cases does it matter if that doctor can identify with the patient, race, sex, age, etc.?
Yes, I can speak to that, certainly. Yes. Actually, one of our parishioners, she went to the doctor, they took her blood, and they said that she needed to visit an oncologist. She's African American. The day that she was supposed to meet with the oncologist didn't show up. And a black doctor saw her case and took it and said, no, your white blood cells have always been low. He said, we're different in anatomy in many ways, and it was important. God orchestrated that all day long, that she saw him and not others, because sometimes the differences are not always picked up.
Right. And sometimes it's cultural, kind of like what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, and like somebody knowing and identifying the cultural difference. So for the people that will see this, know that when you try to comment, because I get so nervous. Yes. I'm gonna be honest about it. Okay, so I saw some art. And I saw some other things there as well. So what else can people expect? Because it's not just all about medical. There's some other things going on too.
Yes, so we'll have DJs, we'll have some maternal health specific artwork. We will have prizes and giveaways and screenings. So it's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a collaborative time. We're there from 10 to 3 with our panel starting at noon.
Okay, and let's tell people where it's at. So this is Saturday, September 20th at Imani Village. This is at 901 East 95th Street. It starts from 10 and it goes all the way to 3. Do I have that right? The resource fair? There's different times, but it goes until 3. And then the maternal health panel is from 12 until 1:30. Anybody that wants to RSVP, you can go to firstladieshealth.com. Any last words before I let you ladies go?
No, just please visit firstladieshealth.com to find out more information. We are in partnership with the American Lung Screening Initiative, who's bringing the fair with us, and we're very happy to have them as a co-sponsor.
Anything else?
Yes, I would say come. Maybe you don't need it, bring your neighbor, bring your husband, bring your grandmother, but come, because it's free, and as you mentioned, times are changing, and free is important.
Yes, it is. Everybody does not have health insurance.
That's
you know,
right.
It's true.
Yes.
I appreciate both of you for coming on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, stay with us. We'll have much more right after this break.
Fox Low.
Oh, welcome back to Chicago Now. Our studio guests, they in here having a good time. Can you hear them? Okay, we got to talk with Mary McKean, and we are talking about something that I think is really interesting. You're combining movement, a little yoga, and a little music, and this is all happening at the Salt Shed. It's actually called Move at the Shed.
Move at the Shed.
What is this all about?
So it's this Sunday. We've done some classes in the past at the Shed called Move at the Shed. We've done yoga classes, dance classes. And it's always been one of my favorite events because everybody is releasing endorphins and they're happy and they're having a great time. So we're excited to expand that to a full day, festival style, and to make it unique to us, 60 On Center, who have, you know, all these music venues across town. We added music elements. And for me, it was also important to not just have the physical elements, but to have some mindfulness elements too, because I think right now taking care of yourself is a full picture job.
It is. Yeah. It really is. I mean, a Saturday and Sunday is not long enough for a weekend anymore, especially looking at the landscape of our world. Okay, let's talk about the artists that will be there, because I'm looking at some really amazing faces right there.
Yeah, a couple of our featured artists. We have Laraji, who's like very well known in the ambient music space. He's doing a laughter meditation to start off the day. I know, it's gonna be good. I mean,
like, is that what it is? Laughter meditation?
Laughter meditation.
You just laugh? Is it laughing? Just laughing?
Have
you ever done it?
I haven't, and I'm excited to find out.
Okay, I've done it one time. Yeah, this was way back when, and I just remember just laughing. That's really what it was, just laughing.
I mean, that's such a good release.
We need it.
Yeah, we need it. And then we'll have some Chicago favorites. We'll have Vic Mensa, which I'm really excited about. He's going to be talking about his daily practice of meditation and guiding a meditation and doing some movement, which I can't wait to see. We have Ravinia, who is a R&B singer. She just sold out in May, our venue, Thalia Hall. She's doing guided meditation. And then we're ending the day with Jamila Woods and the Yoga Seed. I'm very excited about that. Jamila is actually going to be performing while you do yoga, and then ending with a sound bath. So
that's what I was going to ask.
Lovely way to bring in your next Monday.
Yeah, I love that. So you basically can go there, the live music is playing, and you can get into formation essentially.
Yeah, yeah. So she'll be playing while you're doing your flow. And then we have other events too. We have studios from Beverly all the way up to the north side. We have yoga parties, we have sauna, we have our partners at Southwest are doing free massages in the lobby and a little rest and recovery lounge and doing like cool giveaways. So
yes, like R&R all under one umbrella. Let me ask you this, because I'm looking at that picture of all the people in position there. That's a lot of people. What do you think is so attractive right now about people really going full circle and taking care of themselves?
Well, I think that especially since 2020, we've seen a shift in realizing that we do really have to focus on health and taking care of ourselves. And I think the best way to do that is also to show up in community and to be with each other. When we've done these events in the past, people have really had an opportunity to meet their community members, their neighbors. And like I said, everyone feels pretty good after they work out. So it's just a lovely space to engage with the people in your community and say hi and take a beat. I think that's also a part of health, is really connecting with others. And I love that we get to do this on such a large scale.
You know, what I think about when I look at this and I think about what you're doing, this is kind of like where the music festival scene, at least in Chicago, kind of winds down.
Yes.
And you've really found a way to kind of tap into a market that's a little different.
I agree. And I actually think September is like the month for us as Chicagoans, because I feel like we're hosting people June, July, August, and then things wind down. We still have the best weather, I feel like, in September. So it's really for us to like have time for ourselves. And to me, this is the perfect kind of festival. You'll be home in plenty of time to make dinner, go to bed early, and have a great week and start your week off right.
And the weather. I mean, this is insane, the weather that we're... Don't cross your fingers. It is what it is. We're here. Look at all those people out by the beam right now.
Gorgeous.
It's like 80s outside.
It's my favorite.
It's supposed to carry into the week. So
we're good.
Probably have a lot of people for this. How much are tickets? Tell me where people can get tickets.
Here's the lovely thing. We have some events that are free. So the group runs, we have a primal scream with Chicago Scream Club, and we have Chicago Girls Walk, those events are all free, thanks to Southwest. And then the ticketed events you can find at moveattheshedchicago.com or saltshedchicago.com for the tickets with Jamila or any of the yoga classes. We have some other fun classes like rebounder classes. I don't know if you've ever tried that.
I have not. What is that?
It's where you're jumping on a trampoline working out, and I've never laughed harder.
It fell out, Mary.
I've never laughed harder. It was a good time. I don't know.
Were you out of breath?
Oh, the whole time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They need an ambulance nearby.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt when I left. I was like, this was the best time ever. I don't know if I'll be back. No, I'm just kidding. Common Language, an amazing studio, and it's one of the most fun workouts I've ever had.
That's creative. I've never even heard of that until now, so that's really creative. Let me ask you this. What else is coming up in terms of the Salt Shed?
The Salt Shed? Well, I do have a holiday market that will be coming up in November. We're doing an open house on the 30th. A lot of the programming I work on, we love to have it be free or really low tickets because we want the space to be inclusive to everybody. Everyone should have an opportunity to enjoy that iconic space. And then we have, just great shows coming up too. We're winding down our crazy summer season. I think our last outdoor show is mid-October, so we extended it a little longer this year, but yeah, just really looking forward to the fall, and we'll probably on the 30th do some fun pumpkin stuff, and we have a goth DJ set happening at our new Free Top Lounge, which is the cocktail bar on top of the Salt Shed.
I like the part that you said free.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because, I know a lot of people think that, they have good jobs and all that stuff, but there's a lot of people that don't. And everything is so expensive now.
Right.
Go to the gas station, go to the grocery store, everything.
I go to the grocery store and I just can't believe what I'm paying when I walk out.
And this is all I got? Not several bags, one bag.
Right, exactly. And so I love doing free events. Like our holiday market will be free, and it just gives people, like I said, an opportunity to come to the space. We want you to stay and relax, have a smoothie, meet up with your friends. We're gonna have an adult coloring station if you want to color and just hang out. Semicolon books will be there so you can do a little shopping. Like, it's just made to enjoy the space, have a good time. It's right on the river. It's, beautiful weather in Chicago right now. And like I said, it's really, we want to create a space where people can come and be with their neighbors, and it's right in the center of the city, so you can come from any neighborhood.
Somebody may be watching right now when you said adult coloring and be like, what? Well, let me tell you, they say that is good for your body, for your nervous system, and for your mind. So if you have not colored in a long time as an adult, go to the Dollar Tree, get yourself a $1.25 book.
You're gonna have a blast.
It's so much fun.
Really good time.
Yeah, it's really relaxing. It's almost like it quiets your mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this event, how How many people do you think is going to come out to this?
Well, we've already had thousands of people RSVP.
Whoa, thousands?
Thousands, yeah. So it is, I mean, the class sizes, they'll fill up fast. Those are smaller, you know, some are 60. Some of the meditation classes can hold up to 400 people though. So that's the lovely thing about our space. We're doing things all over the space. It's a huge space to work with, and it is an all-day event. So it's 11 to 7 p.m. So, you know, there's classes, 8 classes throughout the day at, you know, 4 or 5 different stages. So
11 to 7.
Yeah.
Are there things going on at different times within that time period? And exactly what? Give me a quick run through before I let you go.
Yeah. So each stage, you know, we have our outdoor stage. So we'll be doing Thrive. They're from Beverly. This is like drum cardio, dance cardio. That transitions later in the day to yoga party with Yeah Me Too, which is a local producer. He's a DJ turned yogi, so that'll be fun. We'll have sauna club, we'll have ethos training, doing some free acupuncture and physical therapy assessments out in our fairgrounds. We'll have grocery run club, 7 on Sundays, excuse me, another run club, Chicago Girls Who Walk. We'll have Laraji, Vic Mensa, Jamila. Everybody. Yeah, I was like, we have common language. We have the sunroom taking over our 3 Top Lounge, and they'll be doing Pilates and yoga and other kind of mat workouts.
You know, I thought about getting into yoga, but I'm a little intimidated. Why do you think people are so like, I want to say enthralled in it? Because it seems like once you take a couple of classes, it's just full throttle thereafter.
You know, I think we sit a lot. I think we're looking down on our phones a lot, and I just love to stretch. I just think you're made to, like, it's a nice reminder to stretch and be in your body. And I think what's nice about how yoga's exploded over the decades is there's a little bit of something for everyone. So I like a slow, chill flow. Yeah. Or, you know, sometimes like with Josh, he makes an amazing, like, rap and R&B mix, and it's a little faster and it's more of a workout. I like that too. It just kind of depends on the mood, but I love that there's something for everybody.
Perfect. All right, so September 21st, 11 to 7 at the Salt Shed. Where can people find out more again? What's the website?
They can either go to thesaltshedchicago.com or moveattheshedchicago.com.
You have been absolutely a pleasure to talk to. Mary McKean, thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, it was a good time, wasn't it? I really wish you would have brought the, what did you call it? The rebound yoga?
The rebounder, I know.
That would have been hilarious. We got to do that next time.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to bring that on and do it next time.
I love
so
it.
we can watch me pass out. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Chicago Now. Okay, we got to talk about 2 really interesting trenders before we move on to talk about the Chicago Bears. We got to move into that thing slow. Okay, Red Lobster. Have you been there in a while? If you haven't, they say you should go because they say they have like this new seafood boil that's amazing. and some other stuff. I think they have lobster rolls that are good. Anyway, they've rebranded, and apparently now they are out of bankruptcy. And I don't know if you've gone on TikTok lately to see what people are saying, but they're saying that it is so good. So check this out. After filing for bankruptcy in 2024 and closing dozens of locations, Red Lobster is staging a comeback under 36-year-old CEO Damola. Okay, I can't pronounce the last name, so don't get me to botch it. I'm gonna try to say it. Adam Loken is what I think it is. So Damola Adam Loken has been able to turn this place around. And I think what was really interesting about this, when I first saw that he was going to be announced as the CEO at just 36 years old, a lot of people were like, what does he know? Well, apparently a lot. That is why a lot of times the youth is needed in certain jobs. Wouldn't you agree, studio audience? The youth is needed in certain jobs. Man, they're really dry this morning. That was a very dry clap. But yeah, it's been really impressive to see, because it seems like that just happened overnight that they came out of bankruptcy. Okay, here's a local story that we got to talk about. ESPN ranked suburban sophomore. His name is Ethan Vaughn, Oswego High School sophomore. He has been ranked one of the top guards among the nation's top high schools. Yes. Look at him. He looks like he knows that he can play. Okay, he's just 6'2", and Vol is listed in ESPN's top 25 sophomore point guards nationwide and is the #3 overall recruit in Illinois for the class of 2020. 6'2", and just a sophomore? That is incredible. So this is what he's known for: his smooth shooting, explosive scoring, and his playmaking skills, and already has Division I scholarship offers from Eastern Illinois University and University of Incarnate Word. Scouts have praised his high school IQ, maturity, and relentless work ethic. We got to give it up to Ethan Ball. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, we can clap for that. Okay, so that is why we went from that something exciting to something disappointing. Something exciting in the sports world being Ethan Ball, something disappointing in the sports world being the Chicago Bears. And here to talk to us about it is Barstool Eddie. Barstool Eddie, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't even want to say good morning when it comes to the Chicago Bears, because I really feel like we're in mourning. How did you feel after watching that game? What were you thinking?
I felt like I got kicked in the face 52 times. That's how I felt.
What do you think the Bears need to improve on? I would say everything.
Everything.
Yeah, me too.
They need to improve on everything. The defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, the coaching staff, special teams, everything needs to be better. Listen, I certainly didn't think we were going to be great this year, but I didn't think we were going to be this bad. So it's been a painful 2 weeks to start the season.
Some people will say, well, it's still early. You know, we always hear that as Bears fans. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I hear people say that, it kind of frustrates me, because it's like, okay, you're saying that about this team because they're not doing so well, but you wouldn't say that about the teams that are doing well. It's just 2 games in. What do you think?
I think it's too early to start this dang bad. That's what I think. I think I'm staring down the barrel of 15 more Sundays of this same thing. And that makes me sad. It makes me terrified. It makes me not want to turn on the TV.
You know, when I watched the game, those 8 penalties, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. And then we gave up over 500 yards. And pretty much after that, after it was all said and done, we were cooked. Okay, period. We were cooked. What do you think needs to change ahead of our next game that we will face?
I think the Bears defensively need to figure it out. Of course, like, there's a lot of people who need to come back healthy, but the fact that we're not getting a pass rush, the fact that our DBs seem to be not able to cover anyone, defensive side of the ball was very alarming, to say the least. So I think defensively really is what I want to see them bounce back with.
What do you think? A lot of people kind of felt like, even some Bears fans felt like the Bears would lose. I don't think we expected them to maybe lose this bad, for those that were expecting a loss. Do you think it was that Detroit came into this because of Ben Johnson, thinking that they really had something to prove, or do you think they were that good?
I think Detroit definitely came into this game with an edge. They had a chip on their shoulder. Yeah. They wanted to beat the Bears, and I think they wanted to beat the Bears badly, which they did. So I think that was a factor, mixture with the fact that they lost week 1. So I think Detroit, like, it's no secret, they were one of the best teams in the league last year. The Detroit Lions are a better team than the Chicago Bears. That's for sure, but the Chicago Bears need to be better than what they showed, because we were a bottom 3 team in the league this week.
Let me ask you something. I was talking to some old heads about the Bears, and, you know, they have a whole list of their complaints. But one thing that they said that I thought was rather interesting, they were saying, how are you this bad and you're asking for a new stadium? Do you have any opinion about that?
Yeah, I mean, especially if they wanted to be publicly funded. I don't want my taxes to go to a team who's this bad. If there was like a clause where, hey, we'll make the playoffs guaranteed for 10 years, sign me up. I'll give you all the tax dollars. I don't care. But the fact that the team is this bad and they want, you know, to be paid for on the backs of Chicagoans, I'm out on that, because I just don't think this franchise deserves anything more than the hard-earned money that we give them as it is.
I knew you'd be honest about it. That's why I asked you that question. I wanted to see where your opinion was on it. Okay, so we're still early, some people would say, right? We've already talked about that. 0-2, just 2 games down. Is it still too early to kind of call how the season will play out? Or do you think this kind of starts the season off on a very sour note for the players, for the coaching staff to begin with?
I think that's a lot of the concern, because the team seemed like they gave up in a sense there in the second half. So I thought that they were going to start slow all preseason. I really did. And I thought they'd come on in later weeks, week 6, week 8, week 10. I want to say that I still believe that, but they've given me nothing to believe that within 2 weeks. So I don't know what to believe anymore. I'll be real honest with you. I don't know where I stand as we speak.
I saw Caleb Williams came out and said something about like pointing the finger back at himself, basically blaming himself in part for some of this. What do you think about his job and how secure his job will be moving forward? I've asked several people that. They say it's too early for his job to be, you know, on the line. What's your opinion?
Way too early. His job's secure. He's a #1 pick. Granted, he's only had 19 starts so far, so they need to get him as many reps as they can. I don't see any reason that they would make the change at least 8-10 weeks into the season. So I would say right now, going into week 3, that's not even crossed my mind yet.
What do you think needs to happen? I mean, if you had it your way, what do you think, just looking at the players, looking at the mistakes, what do you think needs to be cleaned up and fixed?
Well, I think you nailed it right there. I think the penalties are a major cause for concern. The offensive line, we just dumped a bunch of money into it, and it seems like we can't even get a playoff without a false start, without a holding, without a hand, you name it. The offensive line needs to clean up the sloppiness, and then hopefully we can get things going from there.
When you look at that game as a fan, I know we've had plenty of seasons that are bad, okay? We can admit that. We've had some seasons that were like, whoa. I don't know. When I look at the score, I just can't get past the score, Barstool Eddie. I just can't. The score is
You shouldn't be able to. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, the score is what really okay, the game before, right? We watched that game. We saw that it really went down south for us, I would say, in the second half, too. It went downhill. And that was a little bit digestible. You could digest that because the score wasn't as bad. The score is what makes it so hard to even want to discuss it at all.
Yeah, no, it was jarring. It was jarring to lose that bad, and especially the first half. It closed out poorly, but there was a second there we were only down a score, and that was with a lot of things going wrong. And then you think, all right, let's kind of pick it up in the second half, and they didn't even come out of the locker room. So
okay, let's look ahead to the next game. What needs to happen straight out the gate for the next game?
Listen, what needs to happen is they need to play a lot better defensively. That's a given, but I don't think they're going to. I think the Dallas Cowboys have a great offense. CeeDee Lamb is a top 3 wide receiver in football. George Pickens, and I unfortunately think that they're going to have the way on our defense with what we saw this past Sunday. But finally, it is a good spot where the Bears offense is going to be playing a worser defense. So if we come out there and we're able to, fight some fire with fire, we're able to light up the scoreboard as well. Maybe we could win this game in a shootout. Who knows? But if our offense plays to the level that they played, it's going to be another ugly one, I think, because they're so good offensively.
If you are Ben Johnson, what move do you make throughout this week ahead of the next game?
I think Ben Johnson has to be looking at everything. A lot of these guys aren't his guys outside of this draft class. So if Ben Johnson thinks that someone who was a high pick that was in another draft class, Caleb aside, I know because I just talked about that, I think you make the move. I think Ben Johnson should hold no punches back when it comes to who's playing, because clearly the guys right now are not getting it done.
Oh, Barstool Eddie, it was tough. It really was. It's even tough to talk about. I knew we would have to talk about it this morning, but it was like one of those things where it's like, I feel like now we're kind of at a loss for words. You know, until we see something better, we're kind of at a loss for words. Would you agree?
It's horrible, yeah, because what we kept falling back on was Matt Eberflus was a horrible head coach last year. And, you know, if you improve just a little bit from having the worst coach to like a middle-of-the-pack coach, it's got to be better. It can't be this bad. We replaced him with what was the hottest coaching name in seasons, really, and things have been just as bad, if not worse. So it's puzzling, it's disappointing, it's sad, it's all the above. Everything stinks.
We're going to say it's early. That's what we're going to say, because that's always the default. Let's go with it. Barstool Eddie, it was a pleasure. Thanks for chatting it up with me.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back to Chicago Now. So we are looking at what Chicagoans are talking about, and we turn to Chicago Reddit, and Chicagoans are talking about weird things to do in the city. So these are some of the weird things and places to check out in Chicago. So you can see 2 hours ago, someone's at the Museum of Surgical Science. We got to look that up. I don't even know where that is. I didn't even know that was a thing. But it sounds like a place that I would definitely want to check out. Like, I'm guessing they have all kind of old surgical instruments, etc. So that would be interesting. Also on that list was the Chicago Magic Lounge. Now, if you haven't gone, I don't remember exactly where it's at, but I did get a chance to go to the Chicago Magic Lounge. And what really makes it interesting, it is on the north side. What makes it really interesting is it is really undescript. You don't know where exactly you're going. I don't even remember what the sign said outside, but it did not say Magic Lounge. And in fact, when you first walk in, hopefully we'll be able to pull some video up at some point, because I did go and I did record it. They're looking for the video now. But when you first walk in, it looks like a laundromat. So it looks like, you know, clothes are drying and spinning in the laundry, whatever. And then you notice this like little handle on the door of one of these dryers, and you open it, and voila, it's this Magic Lounge, and it's absolutely incredible. It's like a speakeasy kind of feel. Very beautiful inside, very surprising, really. It's a huge surprise. And it was really a good time, and the magic was really just jaw-dropping. I'm like, how did they do this? I really want to go and see. I think they do something, someone told me, where they kind of reveal some of how they pull off the magic, because it was all kind of stuff happening, and it was almost at the point of being like a freaky magic trick, because it was so weird. It was really fun, so I really enjoyed that. So if you haven't gone, go check it out. It's a lot of stuff in Chicago to do, and I think a lot of times we get, and I've said it on this show before, we get so, you know, caught up in staying in our neck of the woods, going to the familiar places, and we don't really venture out. And although that was quite a drive for me to go to the Magic Lounge, it was really a good time. It was one of our date nights. We wanted to do something different, and it was absolutely fantastic. The Museum of Surgical Science, that's an interesting one. I don't know if that's something you would do on a date night, but maybe it's something that would really be cool around Halloween. Were you guys able to find the video? They're still looking for the video. But yeah, it was a really good time, and one of, I would say, Chicago's hidden gems, that it's right here in our own backyard. And what's really impressive is they have the largest collection of like magic trick memorabilia, magic memorabilia in the country. They have like some of like the first stuff that was ever published about like magicians, etc. So that was really cool to see as well. So yeah, if you get a chance, go check them out, Chicago Magic Lounge. Maybe we can get them on the show. I think we should try to get them on the show, guys, and let them do some of their magic tricks, etc. And the Museum of Surgical Science. What did you say? What did you say? What's another weird one? Pull it up. Oh, you're showing me. What is it? The cemetery. Wow. Couture some to Oakwoods Civil War Memorial is somber yet grand. Jesse Owens and Enrico Fermi and Ida B. Wells, among others. So this is a cemetery. Graceland Cemetery has many memorable and famous graves, great architecture and landscaping, and quite a tree and plant collection. That is not some place I would think of. So yeah, very interesting to say the very least. And Rose Hill Cemetery is the largest and oldest in Chicago. It has 11 former mayors, the founders of Sears, Montgomery Wards, Schwinn, Cracker Jacks. Wow. I don't know. I don't know if that's a place that I would want to go check out, but I guess anything is possible. I guess maybe like for one of those tours. I know they do tours to different places as Halloween gets close, so I guess that kind of makes sense that, you know, people would put that on the list. You could tour some cemeteries. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to a cemetery, but if that's something that you find interesting for Halloween, go check it out for yourself. Okay, that's it for Chicago Now. We appreciate you tuning in. We have a whole lot more coming up tomorrow. In fact, we have Chicago's own Lil Rel. Comedian Lil Rel will be in the house with us, talking about all of his projects that he has going on, talking about why he's in Chicago for the week. He actually hit me up and said, hey, I saw you have this new show, and I want to make sure to come on. And the people that booked for the show, Adina, was like, really? Like, he wants to come on our show? Yeah, he wants to come on our show. So he'll be on tomorrow. We're going to play some games. We're going to talk about all the exciting things that he has going on in his career. It's been extremely exciting. And I think as a person watching, it's been amazing to see like his blow up, because I've known him, I think it's been since like 2015. So to see, you know, 10 years later, how his life has really transformed has been absolutely amazing. We will have it on the show tomorrow. Tune in starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. Lil Rel will be on at 11. We're going to play some games that are going to be really fun. So make sure that you join us for that. Thank you so much for joining Chicago Now. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
And developing right now at noon, a manhunt in the south suburbs finally ends. What led multiple police departments on an hours-long search? And despite the ICE activity in Chicago, Pilsen says their El Grito Festival will go on tonight. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us here at noon. I'm Natalie Bumke in for Sylvia and Brian. And we start with developing news. A manhunt is now over in the south suburbs after police arrested 3 people in connection to a crash there. You can see Sky Fox was over the scene near Harlem and Volmer Road this morning. Matson police say after a crash there, 3 men ran off and went to Tinley Park. Police say the men were possibly armed with handguns and they were canvassing a neighborhood to find them. They were all eventually arrested. No one was injured. Well, someone left a dead rat, I know, disgusting, outside a Chicago alderman's office. And this was apparently in response to ICE detentions happening in Chicago. Fox 32's Joni Lum reports.
A rat at the door might not be the most uncommon thing in Chicago, but there was a note threatening in nature, and it's all under investigation. Someone spotted the dead rat on the sidewalk on busy Western Avenue. It looked placed there. They called police. 40th Ward Alderman Andre Vasquez is checking the security system of his North Side Ward office and talking to neighbors about what was found there. Police alerted him a dead rat was at the door with a note comparing undocumented immigrants to vermin. It read, "Support ICE."
I mean, for somebody to take the time to do something like that, you've got to take it seriously. So it's why we made sure to follow up with CPD, make sure we're taking extra precautions, want to make sure that the staff is safe.
Tension and anxiety is increasing now that ICE activity is elevated. Alderman Vasquez says threats of any kind around September 16th, Mexican Independence Day, won't ruin the community's celebrations of culture and heritage.
The activity is unacceptable. We have a lot of people afraid in general when you've got ICE here. And so we just want to make sure that people understand that we're government. We're going to continue to do our job. We're going to make sure we're serving our neighbors. And as the chair of the Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights, we're still going to do everything possible to make sure we protect all of our neighbors.
Alderman Vasquez said the threat did not seem directly aimed at him, but targeted a group of people. And so he is urging police to call this a hate crime. Joni Lum, Fox 32, Chicago.
Joni, thank you. And despite ICE's ramped up presence in the city, El Grito Festival will be held today in Pilsen. The original event was postponed in response to ICE activity in Chicago. The new event will take place at St. Paul Catholic Church. The original El Grito celebration was planned for Grant Park. Organizers say they are taking precautions to keep attendees safe. All the fun there will begin at 4 o'clock this afternoon. And what will the weather hold, you ask? Well, we're going to take a live look outside. It's looking good so far. Let's turn it over to Caitlin Cody.
Perfect weather. This whole week is going to be quiet, Natalie, each and every day. Sunshine, highs in the 80s. This early afternoon hour shows just how quiet it is over Chicagoland. We have a few clouds moving into portions of Iowa, maybe far western Illinois, getting in on a little bit of cloud cover. But for us in Chicago, we have mostly sunny skies, and the temperatures are reflecting that. It's already 80 degrees outside. East-northeast breeze at 5 to 10 miles per hour. These temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s inland, but it is going to be cooler near the lake today. Behind me, you can see right now 75 degrees, the lakefront. So these are current temperatures, and you can see the sliver of yellow indicating that it is going to be cooler if you're stepping out the door near the lake. Waukegan right now at 76. Temperatures already pushing into the mid 80s for a few of us. As we take a look just west of O'Hare, Aurora's at 84, 85 at LaSalle. So again, a toasty day today, tomorrow, the next day. We don't even have the chance for rain until the end of the week. A full check of your forecast is ahead.
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, today, Governor Pritzker sat down with students and staff from city colleges of Chicago to talk about the impact of federal deployments. And the governor says political violence is also speaking fear, he believes, especially for undocumented students.
Political violence has increased substantially against both Republicans and Democrats. Democracy is designed precisely to avoid political violence. And it's now incumbent upon leaders of all stripes to work together to stop it.
Pritzker also mentioned the recent killing of Charlie Kirk. And we're going to have more on Kirk's assassination investigation coming up later in the show. And the American Civil Liberties Union of Indiana is suing Indiana State University, claiming the school violated the First Amendment. The case centers on funding cuts for student workers at the Pride Center of Terre Haute. The nonprofit provides health education, HIV testing, and community support for LGBTQ+ residents, and it relies on student staffing. Well, last month, ISU ended federal work study and grant support, citing guidance from the U.S. Justice Department. But the ACLU argues the decision is politically motivated, not policy-driven. So more to come on that. Cook County residents now have more resources to fight drug overdoses. There was a ceremony today at the 47th Red Line station to unveil vending machines that dispense naloxone for free. Naloxone is a medicine that rapidly reverses the effects of an opioid overdose. Cook County health officials and the CTA teamed up